welcome to episode 94 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Geoff Mayo.
I'm Jacob Hamill.
Special guest, Jacob.
Special guest, Jacob Hamill. I was the host for the Spoilercast.
Did he host? Geoff, you couldn't even host, Geoff?
Hey, he started saying he was host. He's like, oh, we're rolling with it. He's going to be doing most of the talking anyway.
I appreciate it.
it.
I like that self-assurance and just coming in here. It's like, no, I'm the host now.
I had to take my own future for myself.
Hey, he had multiple pages of notes. He could host.
This is true. He looked more like the host, I must say. Well, guys, happy 420.
Hell yeah.
How many marijuanas have you absorbed into your skin on this day of our Lord 420? Jacob, you go first right now.
Well, I did buy my tickets to see the band Sleep in Charlotte.
That's close enough.
Okay.
Yeah, Sleep is the most pure stoner metal bands.
I'm aware of Sleep.
They have a song that opens with a bong rip.
So did you get some contact high just from purchasing those tickets?
Hell yeah.
Just, instantly. Geoff, how many marijuanas?
42.
It was supposed to be 420, but 42 works. Yeah. All right.
Keep you on your toes, Darby. But Darby, most importantly, it's the anniversary of a very great game. And that game is Nintendo Labo.
Oh, yeah, I remember those jokes. I remember the jokes.
No, God of War came out a year ago today.
That's funny. We have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. First, I'm going to get into some housekeepings, which we actually have several bits of. Yeah, you put that pen down, man. I'm the host now, okay?
My rules!
Oh, he broke the mic.
Broke the mic. Maybe Jacob should be hosting. We're doing our Game of Thrones Spoilercast, which I've talked about a lot, but it's here. Episode 1 has already happened. We're doing this with Chad and Holden from Respawn Name Fire. You can get it on the Nerds at Large Spoilercast podcast feed or youtube.com/nerdsatlarge. Look forward to that every Monday. So we're recording it tomorrow night. Right here.
Is winter coming?
Happen? Winter is coming. I mean, winter's kind of pretty much here. This winter.
Spoilers. Oh, God. It's still coming after 8 seasons?
Winter has arrived.
Oh, okay.
Winter has arrived. Also on that same podcast feed, me and Geoff did a Shazam spoiler cast. Shazam. That movie's pretty good.
Is it?
Pretty good.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
It's a really, really funny, cute movie. We really liked it. So you can go see why we liked it. It's a good time. We start spoiler free, so if you hadn't seen it before, have no fear. And then upcoming is Endgame. Geoff, we are a week from today. We will be seeing Endgame.
Yes.
Whoo, boy, so excited. So me, Geoff, and Will will be doing that sometime the following week. And yeah, that's all the spoiler cast.
But Darby, did you forget what we just did for 2.5 hours?
I did just forget what you just did.
And you go take a Ricola.
Yeah, you can take that one.
But yeah, right before this, for almost 2.5 hours, Jacob and I talked about Nier Automata.
Hope you guys took Philosophy 101. We're going to get into it. Or we did get into it.
Yeah.
I was asleep for most of it, so that's probably why I just shut it out. Also, I put a video up on our YouTube channel this week called Why I Love Night in the Woods. I might do some more of these videos because I had a lot of fun doing it. So if you want to go check that out, go check that out. And me and Geoff, we did a lot of things. Me and Geoff yesterday, we streamed Joker gameplay in Smash. A lot of fun.
Played some stage builder stages.
Did some stage builder stuff, which was stupid and fun, and just that you'd expect. And speaking of stupid and fun, we played a bunch of Dreams collections, a bunch of Dream games, and that was so much fun that I want to do that. I think that game is just made for streams, to just bounce around to a bunch of stupid games.
Stream some dreams.
Me and Geoff are dreamers. All right. That's all my housekeeping. Carry on with your games. Jacob.
Yes.
We're going to start with you.
I played Sekiro. That's all I've been playing.
Such a big surprise, but you beat it now.
I did beat it.
So you have
Yeah, that final boss, man, he is that is a tough one. Yeah. That's not much really to add. If you want to listen to more of my thoughts on it, you can go listen to when I talked about it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot. I think in my heart, I'm gonna say it's my second favorite FromSoft Souls-like game behind Bloodborne.
Okay.
It's still my favorite.
I figured Bloodborne was number one, but I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I just played that game the most, and all of the setting and the atmosphere and the lore that's going on. But Sekiro is a whole lot of fun. Like I said before, if you're a Dark Souls fan, definitely check it out. But it may not be for you. And likewise, if you don't like some aspects of Dark Souls, you might like this more. I'll probably write a review, so keep an eye out on that on the blog.
Yeah, nerdsatlarge.wordpress.com.
Yes.
Yeah. Jacob's an awesome writer. I love reading that stuff, so that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, you guys have any questions? It's hard. It is hard, but it does get easier.
Yeah, I mean, did the combat, do you think the whole way through it kept like adding on satisfying layers?
Yeah, I'd say
crazier
so.
and crazier.
I will say, I guess a few criticisms. I like the stealth mechanics, but they were a little jank at times.
I've seen some clips and stuff.
Yeah. Normally it's not a problem, but I especially had a hard time doing the jump off of a wall and grabbing onto a ledge. It felt like it would not read me grabbing onto the ledge a lot of times. So that was a little frustrating. And then From Software still needs to figure out how to work in their camera into some boss fights, especially with the bigger ones, because the camera will go crazy. And, if you're up in like a boss's like crotch area, you can't really see what's going on. Right. And they really need to fix that, especially if the games are going to be more faster paced and harder like Sekiro is.
Yeah, not really a game that you want to have a camera
problems
not working with you. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just like a very small part of it. It wasn't all the time, and I liked it. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's a good game.
It is a good game. Yeah. You heard it here.
And I might at some point go back to it and try to get one of the other endings. There's 4 different endings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Doing different, really esoteric kind of things throughout it, but we'll see.
Okay.
What I'm excited to see is on Tuesday when the NPDs come out to see where that places.
Yeah. I forgot that we're that close to getting the NPDs.
Next week's gonna be crazy sales news. People got NPDs, and I think we got at least Nintendo's financial report.
I mean, we did hear there was some early number for Sekiro.
It was like 2 million or something.
Yeah.
It's gonna do
days.
well.
Yeah.
Division's obviously gonna be number 1, but after that, we'll see.
Yeah.
Might as well see Devil May Cry.
We're actually gonna do a little bit of time travel. Okay, hey Geoff.
Hello.
So,
we are back, I guess.
We're back. Yeah, this is a little weird. So Jacob was here to talk about Sekiro, and then we recorded. We just skipped ahead and recorded a PS5 rumor talk. Or
not rumor. Announcement
talk. It's just so weird that we got PS5 news. Yeah, so he was here for that. We just wanted him for those, but he had to bounce. So now it's just me and Geoff. So you're going to hear Jacob again later. It's weird. Podcast magic.
Oogly boogly.
So Geoff, we are in the game talk still. I suppose we are.
We got a good bit.
Oh yeah, I still.
Yeah, a lot of these should be kind of quick.
Yeah. So Night in the Woods. We are kind of I think we kind of audibled this. Me and you might end up just doing a spoiler cast. And Jacob, he was even saying like when I was taking him out, he said that he was probably going to play it. So
we can just wait on that.
Yeah,
at the very least.
We're just gonna start churning out old 3-year-old game spoiler casts
for 2017.
Hey,
I mean, we also did Danganronpa.
2017 was such a good year. We need 3 years just to cover 2017, man.
Yeah,
yeah. So I think we planned on me talking about it a bunch because I did beat it, but probably actually not going to say that much if we're going to do that.
Just say how you felt about it generally.
And though. I want people to go watch my little video. I was proud of that. I like that.
Darby loved it.
I loved it. It's in the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this game, I expected to like it. I mean, like, just looking at it, it looked like my type of game. You recommended it. I trust you with recommendations.
You saw all those awards I gave in 2017 with characters and cast and stuff.
yeah, which I'd be interested to go back and listen to you talk about that now that I know. But I didn't expect it to like relate to me quite this much, just because I feel like in some ways I'm living Night in the Woods currently in my current state of life, because it's very much like I've said before about being a like young adult in your 20s and just kind of like, life's weird. Where am I going? What am I doing? And like there was just so many parts of that game that just kind of felt like it was staring me straight in the eyes, like, Darby, we're making this for you. And just more than that, the writing is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly awesome how much they're able to do with such simple things. Like I say in the video, I talk about how like it's really just small little text blurbs, and almost the entire game is like dialogue, just like most of it pretty simple dialogue. But even just with the very minimalist art style and minimalist just concept of the game, they really, really, really make you care about these characters. So much.
Greg is the homie.
Greg is great, and I spent my time with B mostly. As far as I see, you pretty much just choose Greg or B to be the one you spend the most time with. So, and since I figured I just did all B because I figured I didn't want to miss a scene, you know. So I'll probably go back and watch Greg's stuff, but I by the end, some of her storyline, the scenes with her, like, were getting me choked up. It was like, it's very sad but very real. And all of these characters, I had someone that would pop in my mind as I was reading it to be like, this kind of reminds me of this person in my life, you know. Which it just, everything about the game, just, you feel like those developers are writing about something they know. Like the way that they captured a small town. Not that Columbia, South Carolina is the smallest of towns, but it definitely has some of those qualities. Yeah. And I saw that like with the, you know, the church being a very like big focus of the town, and then everyone getting excited about a new taco place, and like places closing down, and then some people like being out of jobs and everything. It was just, it all just, I don't know, it worked, and it was funny. It's a funny game. There's like so many, I don't know.
Let's go do crimes, Darby.
Crimes. That game just has so much heart.
Yep.
It's one of those I want to follow the people who made.
Oh
this.
Yeah. When I hear they're working on other games, like, hell yeah, let's go.
And it like Night in the Woods makes like kind of fuels my creative energy, because again, I'm looking at this, and like I said, I looked up like animation tutorials, and it's like, man, I think I could even do this. It's like, maybe I can make a game.
Hey,
man.
Darby,
like, this is simple enough that maybe I can make a game, you know, if you write good enough, because it's super minimalist. But
no, like I was talking, like, I don't know the numbers, but the way Night of the Woods been talking about, it sold, I can imagine it sold pretty well for an indie game. 3 people, especially with the minimalist side, they made bank.
There was obviously other people in the credits that helped, but for the most part, it seemed like these are the...
Made bank.
Oh, yeah, I hope at least. Yeah, I feel like I heard enough about Night in the Woods back then.
And again, even after then, it came out on Switch, so...
Which all those games like that usually perform...
Get a little more bit of life on the Switch.
Yeah. So that's a special game.
It is
super special.
Well, speaking of games that are getting second life on the Switch, Darby, you started playing a game called Cuphead, another game from 2017.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. I don't know why I didn't plan for this, but this is basically 2017 part 2 for me so far, because I've played Persona 5, Night in the Woods, and now I'm playing Cuphead. And the only 2019 games I played was Metro Exodus for a few hours and Baba Is You. That's it.
Yep.
2019 is not a Darby year so far, and that is A-okay with me.
Because the second half of the game can be crazy, Darby, crazy.
And I can catch up on stuff.
Yeah.
Cuphead, not that this is any revolutionary thing that anyone's hearing. Man, what a game.
It is a great game.
It is a great game that makes me so angry. But I appreciate it. Like, even as I'm sitting here beating my head over and over against the wall over and over again, it is giving me that, like, it's making me remember Celeste and just how much I love this type of game.
It's like, I mean, obviously I talked about when I, played what I did in 2017. It's like, you get mad, kind of the game is kind of like, not because the game feels cheap, it's like, because you can do this. You know what you did wrong.
Oh, yeah, every time. Like, every time I'm in this boss fight, like, whenever you get to the new section, you get a little bit further, you learn what's up and everything, and as you're trying to get to that final section, you know what not to do, and you still do it, and then you're just mad at yourself more than anything. It's like, you idiot, you knew this was gonna happen, and you still messed up.
And obviously, animations and art and everything are incredible.
Amazing. And they never get old, even as you're doing this over and over again. And it's something, like, I talked about how, like, the Souls games kind of scare me, because I don't like having something super hard and then having to spend a bunch of time to get back. I love Celeste and Cuphead and stuff, because you fail and you're back in like a split second. That's what I need for difficult
and they're
games.
like little chunks, because the boss fights can last a couple minutes, but when you lose, it's only Like if you go through the whole thing, it only takes a couple minutes.
Like 3 minutes usually. I think I think the average Cuphead boss fight is like 3 minutes to victory. Yeah.
And then
so
you're in and out, and there's one little section. You know what the end goal is, especially when and it's really well done as far as it makes you like, oh, I can do it, or one more go. When you see the whole thing where it shows you how far you did, and the flag showing the little checkpoints and phases and stuff.
Yeah, that's smart for them to do that because you see just how.
And then when you get to the last phase, you die, and your Cuphead or whatever is touching the last end point. You're like,
you want to rip your hair out. Oh god,
so good.
And I guess I will say like I had only been playing in dock, but while you guys were recording Nier, I played a little bit in handheld, and it works. At least obviously, I think it's better in docked with the Pro.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those games where Joy-Cons are fine, but they're not the best way to play this.
No.
And the Pro Controller feel a lot better.
If I'm in a situation where I can play dock with a Pro Controller, that's what I'm going to be doing.
But it's nice to have that option, and if you become one of these people or something, where you can kind of just take on the go, mess around with some, learn some stuff with the buzzes, or beat high score once you get good enough. Yeah, if that's something you like to do.
It's cool for this situation where I was like I was in there waiting for y'all to get done, so it's like I'll just pop this up and do it, and it's one of those like because it's on the Switch like that. I could definitely see myself like before bed laying down, like pulling it out and let me, like even if I'm not going to beat it in handheld, like you said, I can
get experience and learn some things and get better at some.
Because you got to put that time in with Cuphead.
No, Cuphead is one of those games I'm very interested to see now that's on Switch how what it does sales wise on Switch. I expect it to do really well. I'm curious to see how well.
I am too. I think this is going to be like a game I'm going to continue to focus on, like. It's probably not like I'm gonna play it as I play other.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a main game, but anyone wants to it?
Yeah, but I gotta keep that muscle memory up.
Yeah. Again, I want to get back to Cuphead. I'm just gonna start over. I can still, I guess, do my same save file. Just go back to the beginning bosses and do it again. Get my memory back.
You weren't super far, right? You were like in World 2 or something.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
Yep. Yeah, which I've only beaten the vegetables and the blue guy. I'm fighting the Zeppelin girl, and I've played the flower one once when I got too mad. I got too mad at the Zeppelin. Yep.
Something for the frogs before that. Oh well. I guess you have options.
Yeah, you can play in weird order,
which is cool.
Yeah.
The thing, like you said, if you get too frustrated, it's like, let me just try another one. These bosses, just go.
And it's one of those that I'll with the blue guy. I remember this last time we played it with you. It's like the blue guy is simple and easy, but for some reason it still gives me a hard time at the beginning. It's like I know his patterns. But Darby, in a week's so time, simple. It's like
you'll be able to beat him with your eyes closed.
I know, but it took me a long time. I was getting really frustrated. I put the game down and I came back in 30 minutes and beat him in one try. It was like sometimes you just need to step away for a second.
Now, Cuphead's a great game.
No, it's so good.
And there's DLC this year, Darby. So it's coming out the same time on Switch too.
Probably gonna take me a while to even beat the base game.
But you have that option when
that time comes. Cool.
Even if you're wait till the end of the year or something, get a 6-month break or something. You have that option, which is cool. Okay, Darby, moving on. This is something we both messed around with yesterday on stream.
On twitch.tv/nerdsallgaming.
Yep. We played some Dreams. We didn't make stuff. I haven't done that much making stuff even with the beta because that's a long tutorial. I'll get to it at some point, but I need to set time on that. That's very involved.
Geoff's time is more valuable than that medium molecule.
Yeah. But no, we jumped around and played a bunch of stuff other people made, and a lot of cool stuff in there, Darby.
Lots of cool stuff in Dreams, Geoff. No, I had a blast. I had a really, really fun time just bouncing around to a bunch of things. I think this is always going to be the case, but I think it's going to get better. Right now, everything that we're playing, it's cool little things that are creative, but none of them I would say is this feels like a game, game that I would recommend outside of the bounds of Dreams. But that's also fine, it's fine for what it is. I think this is going to be a super fun, obviously streaming game, but then I can even see us just with our friends at the house, put on Dreams and just surf around and just look at some dumb, goofy shit that we laugh at and be like, this is terrible, what the hell? And then also see some where we're like, oh, this is surprisingly good.
Say the couple you're going to go back to.
And then you look at some more trash, and then and that's fun. I honestly do see that still being fun 12 months from now.
But in 12 months, more of that stuff probably more involved.
Yeah. Oh no, this is gonna get better and better. I feel like.
Yeah, because now that people have access to it and it's not timed, like people will now have it forever who bought it. Mm-hmm. They're able to take their time and really flesh things out and collaborate with people, which is something you've been seeing as some people are good with the gameplay stuff. So we'll go with the art and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
character designs and all that kind of stuff. So.
Legit, if anyone like finds this podcast and starts listening to us and they want to just collaborate on some stupid game, I will definitely help out on some stupid game. I don't know what I'll do. I can write, kind of. Yeah. I have some interesting ideas in my head, so sure, yeah. I'll do it.
Yeah. Dreams, fun time.
Fun time.
If you're interested in it, definitely look into it. I think it'll end up being worth the $30 to people who are into this kind of thing.
I might just go ahead and bite. If it's still available.
I think it still is. Yeah. They said that, it was. They have a limited amount, but not too limited, so.
Okay. I think it's just gonna be a fun thing to have. Even if I don't touch it for long periods of time, it'll be a fun thing to just jump back in and be like, oh, I haven't surfed around in a while. Everything's new. Look at all this new stuff.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah. It's gonna be cool.
I'm excited for when they get the VR stuff in there.
That too.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it just seems like the whole creation thing is going to have to be changed or something for VR, or maybe it's not going to be as much. But I feel like that's a big deal. Like just the creation.
They've changed some, but I mean they already do stuff like the move controllers, and you can use.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true.
People use it to sculpt things.
Yeah. I definitely do worry about like you going into some people's dream creations and getting super sick.
That's why you go for the really recommended ones. Highly recommended ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. It's a little small thing I played. Nintendo, and we'll get to more of this kind of stuff later on. Everyone been wanting a Nintendo Direct, Darby. Nintendo's like, screw that. We're having a Nintendo Twitter Direct. Where throughout the week, they posted a lot of information that you normally, and videos and stuff that you think would be in a Direct, and why we thought we were going to get a Direct, but now they're like, we're just going to put it all on Twitter.
Obviously, like, there was maybe going to be a Direct at some point.
Yeah.
And then they're just like,
now the only thing's left is like, we'll probably get something Mario Maker 2 related in the next month or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, what I'm talking about is Nintendo released a demo for Boxboy and Boxgirl.
Yes.
So said I was interested in this. I know I knew that at some point, but I forgot when I looked in there. It was only $10 to get the game's only $10.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, that's a plus for it.
How was that demo?
It's actually really cool. It's the beginning of the game. And I only did the single player ones. There's a 2-player one when you play Boxboy and Boxgirl, but you can't play a single player by just kind of jumping back. You can jump back and forth between the two to collaborate, kind of like with snipper clips.
Okay, is that fun to do alone?
I haven't tried that yet. That's just something you can do. I'm gonna try that out at some point. I think it comes out like this week or something. But yeah, it's a fun little thing. Obviously, these are the more simple puzzles. And looks like it showed off a lot of the mechanics that you can do. Obviously. In Boxboy, what you do, you're a little box man. You can grow other boxes out of you and extend yourself and make different shapes and stuff.
Yeah.
To solve puzzles, detach them on stuff. You can also do stuff like, and it's dependent on the levels what it allows you to do, just depending on what you need to solve it. Like let's say you can grow 4 boxes out of you. You do a thing, you might like make a little S to get over like a like hill or something. You put it on top of it and you press a button and you kind of shift to the top part of the box to get over a cliff or whatever.
Okay.
Or you can do the boxes, make the shape, and then you can shoot it forward to press a switch.
Okay.
So there are a bunch of different things like that you can do. And again, based on the levels, it's like that. You can't do all of that on every level. It's just depending on what you need to solve it, and it seems will make you aware of what this level entails.
Can you see where this is going to kind of build on itself? And
and then it showed a little trailer, and then it's like, man, this stuff's going to be crazy. And it has a lot of replay value from the levels because you get points and scores and all that kind of stuff. The main things you need it scores you, well, in each level there's a crown you got to get, which is something on there. You don't have to get the crown to pass the level, but you do get the crown to get more points and completely complete the level. And the first couple levels were it was just on the way to the end of the level, and the later levels I played, it was you got to go a little more out of your way and think more.
Do stuff,
you think more to it. Also, to get the best score, it scores you on the amount of boxes you create to pass the level. So you need to pass the level with the least amount of boxes made.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So it scores you in both those. So and on the level select screen, it shows you a crown that's or something that's full when you complete both these things to the highest degree. It's like it has replay value and has 270 levels, and for $10, it's like I'll probably get it for that. This be a fun thing just to when I just want to chill and just not play anything too stressful.
I'm very hit or miss with puzzle games. I feel like there's puzzle games I love, like Bob Is You I love, and then there's puzzle games that I just would rather watch grass grow than play.
And even then, even with this game, if you don't want to go through all the crown stuff, you just pass the levels and that can be good enough.
But just the craziest thing is there's games that everyone says both of these games are good, and I recognize that both games are good. But it's Baba Is You is a blast, and I absolutely love it. I would rather shoot myself with a staple gun than play The Witness probably.
This game's not other of those. This is more snipper clip-esque.
I know it's not. It's just puzzle game in general. But.
Well, if you want to, Darby, to maybe. I got some eShop credit, as I told you yesterday, over $10 worth, so I could get this week. And why not? I mean, even without that, it's $10.
Yeah, it could be cool with the
the two. We could do videos or stream the 2-player mode.
Yeah,
or at least even if we don't stream it, just do it together.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Did we beat Snipper Clips?
I think we did, and then they added more levels or something. I think we did most. Man, Tyler was so into that game.
That was fun.
No, Snipper Clips is great.
Yeah, I wasn't good. I mostly just did what y'all told me to do most of the time. But it was fun.
So, I might get that game because it's just simple and fun and entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked.
Yep.
It's cute.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Yep, I got a couple more games to talk about, people. I played the first couple levels/scenes of the PlayStation VR game Ghost Giant.
And people say this one's pretty good, Geoff.
Yeah, this one's pretty good. Yeah, one of those games. I should do this for all games, but I definitely do this with VR games. I want them to see reviews first because VR games can be definitely hit or miss.
Yeah.
For a lot of things. But luckily,
at least all I had seen was there's a scared fox and you're big.
Yeah. Yeah, what was mainly the trailer, yes, the opening scene. You're this giant. Well, I haven't played enough, so I can't remember the little fox guy's name off the top of my head.
Toby.
Yeah, sure, let's go for that. I know where you got that.
I don't know where I got that.
Toby Fox from Undertale.
That's not where I just said name, but cool.
I forget that name right.
I should have just gone with it.
He actually ends up calling you Ghost Giant. It's a thing. He's crying at the river. You don't know exactly why yet. I imagine it's gonna be one thing. It's kind of sadder and things go along. They kind of hint at some things. But you just appear and you're a giant, this giant thing or whatever. And it's one of those things only the fox kid could see you. No one else could. So you just kind of little friend. He ended up calling you, hey, your name's Ghost Giant. Blah blah blah. No. Because you can't.
And then he looks directly to the camera and the laugh track plays.
Yeah. So you're going through each scene is kind of a little sandbox thing. You're pretty much stuck in one place and you rotate and you can interact with things as you go around. And then you see the little fox guy moving around. On one thing, he's driving a car and you just kind of see him rolling around. And what your job is to do is to get obstacles and stuff out of his way and do that kind of thing. And one of the scenes I went to, you're in the town. So there are a bunch of city people, doing their jobs and all that kind of stuff, being silly. And you can interact with their kind of stuff. You can take roofs off and stuff. This game not realistic in that sense, but screw it, it's a game. Move around with them, take stuff like their hats and everything, and
eat them.
Yeah, and solve little puzzles to get the Foxboy to wherever his destination is at the point. Get him out of the level, move on to the next scene.
Cool.
And you have a little secret handshake with him. I got a silver trophy for doing it.
So what is the story that we're progressing? What are we trying to do? Okay,
so what happened? Apparently, the little fox boy lives with his mom, and it's making it sound like she might be sick or something's wrong with her. They haven't gotten into great detail about that, and you're just kind of doing chores for her. kind of chores kind of for her right now. So I'm not far in it. I only played for about 45-ish minutes or something like that, I think. So you're just kind of doing the chores, moving from scene to scene. Like I said, each scene I'm only up to. I did 5 where I'm at scene 5. We're just about to start it, and there's a little area you mess around with and all that kind of stuff. Like I said,
cool.
So as far as the story stuff, I haven't gotten deep into it yet. As far as that, but so puzzles are kind of fun. It's fun to look around and interact with the characters. It reminds me of, strangely enough, maybe because you're playing Night in the Woods in a way, not necessarily because deep characters, all that stuff, but the whole thing of the art style, like everything's made of like paper and cardboard.
Yeah.
So, like, you can kind of tell it from the trailers, but when you're in there, like, the clouds are cardboard and, like, you see a string hanging from the sky.
It's all been labo.
Yeah. Stuff like that, and they're all animals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Each have their own little personalities and all that kind of stuff, which characters seem fun and all that kind of stuff.
Sounds like a promising start.
Yeah, and the game has in its own way replay value, because I don't think the first 2, but starting like on the 3rd scene, I think each level has a couple little collectible things. Like there's a little worm you can find and poke, and you get that kind of stuff. There's a basketball hoop and a basketball in every level, it seems like. So you find the basketball, find the hoop, and try to get it in there.
Kobe.
Yep, and one of the collectibles is hats in every level. So there's a certain number of hats you can find, like a pirate hat, construction worker hat, and that kind of stuff. Nice. And you can put it on the fox. Yeah, actually, you put the hats on anyone you want. You can take someone else's hat and put it on another NPC.
Are they just like, where did this hat come from? Oh god!
No, and you can poke them. The animals are like, what just happened? Stuff like that. So far, this is a very cute little game, and I'm interested
if
to see
you
where it
poke
goes.
them long enough, they go insane. They're like, someone help me!
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, the game looks really good. Actually, for it is, it's a little simple, like I said, little crafted animal, art style. It's really cool.
Okay.
I like it so far. I'll go more into it.
I say we briefly talk about Ace Attorney, or just save it for next week if you don't have a whole lot, because we have.
I don't think I have too much to say. Just kind of a follow up, and we'll get to that. 54. Okay. So I technically have finished Ace Attorney 1.
Oh, okay. I didn't expect you would beat it. Never mind.
There's still I didn't know this. There are 5 trials normally, or there are 4 trials in the main game, but they added a 5th trial for the re-release. I have not done that yet, but I did get credits. So I'm counting that as I finished it. I'm still going to do the extra trial, obviously.
You finished the story, yeah.
Because it's a whole, obviously, new thing. But so I'm going to say that I'm not going to go deep into the story, obviously, at least not right now or whatever. But one thing I really want to say, I brought last week something I didn't really, compared to Danganronpa, I didn't really care for as much, or it kind of worried me, was you saw the killer at the beginning of each chapter. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to report the next 2 I did, you did not see the killer.
Okay.
The 3rd one just went in and I don't even know if you saw the murder happen. You just kind of end up seeing the murder, but you don't know who it is. The normal thing, you figure it out throughout the story, which I prefer that because it adds some mystery to it. And
yeah. Maybe they were just trying to ease you into it.
I think it was a mixture of that, and the stories for the first 2 compared to the second 2, it fits. Though the last chapter, and not really a spoiler, it's kind of an obvious thing. Is the characters. As a character you knew, the whole thing is they're kind of framed for the murder, and it just kind of sets it up like they're the killer, but it's obvious they're not the killer from the beginning, all that kind of stuff. But it's still the whole thing. You don't know who it really is, and you're supposed to figure out through it.
Right.
So that's my main thing. I really enjoyed it. It got better as I played 100%.
That's good.
I'm excited to...
It still felt like it held up.
100%. I'm excited to do that fifth trial for this game and obviously go on to 2 and 3.
How did the brutalities of the murder compare to Danganronpa?
Not nearly as crazy, Darby. Though I could see all games like this escalate in that kind of way.
So
this is the first game out of like 7 or something.
By the last Phoenix, right? Like people are exploding and Gundams are shooting them from the sky.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I'm sure Geoff will probably explore more of Phoenix Wright's wacky adventures.
Yep. So whenever we get to Marvel vs. Capcom, or Ultimate, or Marvel vs. Capcom 3, obviously try to Phoenix on my team.
Yep. Phoenix main.
Because I'll understand most of the stuff that's going on based on what I remember from his moveset.
Oh, it's still so cool that he's in that game.
Yep.
So weird.
Okay, Darby. Let's move on to...
Give me that news jingle.
Jingle. Even we already talked about news a while ago.
They don't know. We told them, so they know. All right, go.
Jingle, or no?
No, shh.
So we're moving on to next?
The PlayStation thing.
Okay.
That is what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Our Lord Cerny has blessed us.
Lord Cerny has blessed us indeed.
So yeah, the way this works, this comes from Pete Rubin from Wired. Like, so I did a little interview thing with Mr. Mark Cerny about what we're just gonna call it the PS5. Let's just They didn't clear a name, but just for the sake of
I wonder what it'll be called.
Exactly.
If like I will say, if they don't call it the PS5, it's gonna be called something really stupid.
I mean, yeah. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing or whatever. I just got a couple main points, and if there's something I'm forgetting that you guys remember that's important, obviously feel free to bring it up.
Yes.
Okay, so we can just kind of go down and maybe talk as things come up.
Yeah.
See how it goes. Okay, first thing. Mark Cerny is the lead system architect, as he was with the PS4. It has been in development for 4 years. So I guess 8-core AMD 7nm Zen 2 based on 3rd generation Ryzen. Spoiler alert, I don't know all this technical.
Tech talk.
Yeah, exactly. But people will find this interesting and actually know what all this stuff means. It has ray tracing support with custom AMD Navi GPU. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about that scene from CSI where it's like, I need a something GUI, or where it's like, where they're saying like computer terms and very obviously not the right way.
Right.
It's silly.
Probably what we sound like saying this, and what,
CSI is dumb.
Custom AMD unit for 3D audio. Fun. Let's see. It's extremely fast, high-end, custom
solid straight drive.
Yeah.
Solid straight drive.
Yeah, I usually know that, but when I got there, it's like, oh no, I forgot. Solid state drive storage, faster than any solution currently available for PC. An example that was shown, I guess the sheet that Mark Cerny did. Spider-Man load times on PS4 Pro, 15 seconds. And on the next-gen PlayStation, 0.8 seconds.
Yes.
It's a pretty big...
Yes. Please.
Jacob.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
What if that was the only selling point for the PS5? You'd be like, I'm in. That's it.
Dude.
That's
I
all.
mean, we'll get into that as far as...
load times.
Put that on the box.
Please.
Let's see. Technically supports 8K.
Yeah, which is one of those things that, like, everything is saying that at this point, where it's like, yes, it can support 8K. Nothing can use 8K. Like, it's not going to be doing this for like
I don't even
10
have 4K
years.
TV,
Yeah,
man. I don't care about 8K.
No one can afford 4K TVs yet.
I mean, remember the PlayStation 3 was the 1080p console. It was billed as that.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. There's this new virtual reality platform strongly hinted at, but the PS5 also supports current PSVR. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
So I don't have to buy a new one. Death Stranding was kind of hinted at being a cross-gen title by Mr. Cerny.
Yeah.
That's not too surprising.
No, it's not.
Compatible with physical media. Surprising. Backwards compatible with PS4, which is one of the bigger points for me.
Right. It's something we kind of assumed, but we have
It's good to have word
confirmation.
Yeah, because it's kind of built off the PS4. So, but also, don't expect like PS3, PS2 still won't work on this. PS4.
Yeah.
Which is important. DevKit is with developers, and they recently accelerated its deployment, which is probably part of the reason they went ahead and did this. It is not releasing in 2019. He didn't say 2020, but he just did not say this.
Moment of silence for Chad. All right, sorry, Chad. Chad from Respawn Fire
okay.
vehemently thought that the consoles were coming out this year.
Yeah, when we're all like, nah, it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, it could be early 2020.
I've said that possibility too, especially since the Switch did so well, actually launching in March. So
so I definitely want to talk about like multiple things. I think we can start with the actual system itself, and just like there was definitely a little bit in this article that Mark Cerny was kind of like, this is gonna change the way you play games, and then everything I see here is cool stuff, but not like.
It's just it seems to be a more powerful and faster, whatever PS4, which is what I would like anyway. That's
Yeah, and I'm not even saying this in a bad way. Like, he was basically saying it's not just an upgraded Pro. I think it is just an upgraded Pro, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's fine. I think we're at the point where we are definitely getting to the point with consoles that the upgrades are not going to like be as flashy and look as crazy as they have in previous jumps. It's more like the features, like we've been talking about with Microsoft for so long, that's going to be more of the distinguishing factors.
I mean, I think the specific things they talked about, like the SSD, the ray tracing, those huge, are huge,
especially for like developers.
Yeah, huge steps over the Pro even. So I think he's making it out to be like as far as like graphics go, like it's gonna look nicer, but it's not gonna be going from like the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a lot of internal things that are gonna crazily improve performance, load times, frame rate, which is quite frankly things that I think a lot of people would definitely want. I think games look pretty good as is.
I gotta kind of speak for Darby here. We're not the biggest like people like we need great frame rate and all that all the time. Obviously, we won't get all that kind of stuff, but we would appreciate that at the very least.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not a word. We're just not the biggest tech guys that would know a lot of this. But I mean, like I can notice when I can notice when a game is 60 frames and it looks good, and when a game is 30 frames and doesn't, or when
frames drop and all that kind of stuff. Now, if it's 60 frames and it sticks with that, cool.
Yeah. And that is something with all the awesome advancements we have with the PS4 and everything else. Loading times is something that is like just as bad, if not worse, than it's ever been now with certain games. Especially like when I played Witcher 3, I just like dreaded dying because I knew it was gonna be like possibly 2 minutes of sitting there sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of things. Yeah, graphics and technically technology has been improved, but they kind of were improved at like I guess you can say a kind of similar pace. So load times didn't really get much better for a lot of games.
Might also like it's worth considering they're testing a PS4 game on the PS5 and it has like a lot less loading times. But how about in a few years when we have beefier games, the load times might go right back to being bad once we have bigger games.
Not even a couple years ago, maybe even PS5 launch games.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm not a tech guy, but I think that is in part because of the SSD, which is a lot different than the hard drives that the PlayStation is currently running on. So I don't know. I know it has to do with how it accesses that information. So I think I'm hoping the way they're talking about it, even new, potentially larger games, that there is definitely still a faster load time than what would have been like the equivalent on a PlayStation 4.
What's also cool, I think it wasn't this. I might have just heard someone kind of talk about it outside of this, but I think there was a thing mentioned. They were talking about with Spider-Man in particular, not even necessarily the load times, but like traveling around the world, that Spider-Man had to be at a certain speed at max because the rest of the world was loading as you go or something like that. So the solid state drive also highlight that process.
Yeah. I mean that's huge in PC gaming, especially like in the last few years, especially. Just the only thing is I know like from at least what I hear, a lot of like solid. That's a hard thing.
Solid state drives.
Solid state. I keep saying straight state drives. That for what they're trying to go for would be like more expensive than what you would think would be in a console exactly right now. So it's kind of like, how are they doing this and making it financially work for them? Yeah. But I mean, like these companies always take a loss on their consoles to get it in people's hands. So basically, I just hope that this type of stuff doesn't drive. Like, I think the PS5 cannot be. I think 500 is the ceiling. 500 is the ceiling.
I think. I see. 500 being the minimum of what they're going to charge.
God, I hope not.
I mean, obviously a different time. Like it's been over 10 years since that, but the shit they got for making the PS still $600, and people's views on that stuff hasn't really changed. So
yeah, I mean,
and here's the thing: like Xbox learned from they made theirs a higher price to begin with, and kind of suffered for that. There are other things too, but that was a main sticking point for them. So they could be, let's say they do this, Xbox could have a similar powerful console, but undercut them because they learned like they can't be the one to charge the most. And Sony's kind of fooling themselves right now. They're that Sony, like they were leading into the PS3. So
yeah, I like to think that they're not that bad at this point, but and also, I mean, in a weird way, the PS4 is still so healthy and selling so well that if this thing comes out at $600, if someone was like, "Should I buy a PS5?" I'd be like, "No, not for a few years at least. Probably like go play PS4 games." I mean, like I don't know, especially with just how many other consoles, how many other things are out there. Like at least me personally, I think it will be 500, and I think it needs to be 500. And when you get north of that, this is getting pretty expensive for a console. But,
yeah, I mean, it'll be hard to say.
I hope.
I mean, I do know with like the SSDs in particular, like right now their price is falling, and they're gonna be buying in bulk, so that will also cut costs. But yeah, it's hard to say. But from just going from the details that were revealed here, this is gonna be, I think, fairly beefy internally.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the 3D audio.
Yeah.
That will definitely change.
For VR.
Way, yeah, VR, or just games in general, like binaural stealth games.
I mean, the fact that that was in Hellblade, and I mean, like, I'm sure this will be like a better version of it, but that, like, we've seen it a little bit in like that, and I think even Overwatch does some of it, like maybe to a lesser degree. But yeah, it's like that was like a revolutionary experience playing Hellblade with that thing, and like they would use that in some of their level design. Is like things would be coming from a certain direction, and you would have to like respond to that. It's so cool. Like that is one of those things that it's kind of a shame that we haven't like delved more into in games. I guess the other thing, do you guys have anything more to say about the actual specs and just what you're thinking?
I mean, I don't see 8K being really a possibility because, like, I mean,
that's a buzzword.
Yeah, buzzword. Yeah,
like it was with the Stadia.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's probably going to be years before we're even in 4K. Like us, like just normal people, like are going to even have TVs and stuff that can handle that.
Yeah, we're going to be so blown away by 4K whenever we get that and we'll be like, we're good for now.
Yeah, and also with the backwards compatibility, that makes me really happy. Because with them talking about Spider-Man, it seems to me that they're implying that like all the PlayStation 4 games will receive some sort of boost from this hardware.
This is the one thing that's like weird to me. Like, what happens? Like, are they gonna have a Death Stranding PS5 disc and a Death Stranding PS4 disc? And what happens if I put my PS4 disc into my PS5?
Okay.
Am I playing the PS4? Like, is it a PS4 SKU of the game?
I think so.
Yeah.
It'd be PS4 version boosted by the PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm. But so like that PS5 version, if I went out and bought the PS5 disc, that's still going to be a better game.
Well, I mean, they could kind of do. Depending again, not tech guy, blah blah blah. Like they do with some Xbox games, with the backwards compatibility games, like the original Red Dead game I got. Mm-hmm. They have the Xbox 360 and Xbox One logo on the box. So they could just do that and have both on there. Like it may not be for all games necessarily, but yeah, Death Stranding is a good example of that, especially since it's a Sony exclusive. They have that on there, and that stuff. And then when they start putting out new packages of like Spider-Man and God of War stuff, they'll also have both those on there, probably.
Yeah, it's probably more likely.
That's probably how they'll quote unquote re-release those games.
I mean, I hope this means that we're going to be double dipping less and have to deal with ports and stuff less.
I mean, I think that's really what it means.
Honestly, kind of surprising that they're even doing this because of how much money they make off of people buying things.
I mean, in a way, it's kind of like what it happens. I mean, well, I'm speaking, am I asking? Yeah, not tech guy. With PS4 to PS4 Pro and Xbox One, they're different powers and all that kind of stuff. But put the same disc in, works both ways because reasons.
Yeah, I'm hoping it happens that way, but I'm just wondering, like because if Death Stranding comes out, like, I'm just using Death Stranding as an example, any of these games, if they come out before PS5 happens on PS4, are they gonna then release a PS5 disc and everything? Is that any different, or like I don't know, is my two SKUs of the game any different if I just have the PS4 disc?
Well,
it would be better if it's updated, but
yeah, I mean, I imagine that at least with the PlayStation 5, because I was listening to a thing where they were talking about just accessing data off of a disc. I think disc games for the PlayStation 5 are just really just going to be a key, and they're going to be just downloading it and running it off of the hard drive, and not the disc. So I mean, it says physical, but like I think this will be the last generation where discs are really going to be relevant.
I can see that, yeah.
And even then, they're barely relevant. They would be even barely relevant for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. I mean, they're decreasing in relevance even now.
But I think the backwards compatibility, like throwing the price argument out, I think that having it backwards compatibility will entice more people to buy PlayStation 5.
Oh, totally. I mean, you can right out the gate, even if your launch lineup's not the best, it's like you have the entirety of the PS4's lineup, and you can say like all of these PS4 games they play best on PS5.
You're not losing your library. You don't have to remove your PlayStation 4 from your table and put in a PlayStation 5. And I think that those potential more sales would I think counteract any loss of revenue from like $20 remasters.
I hope. Yeah, I mean, it seems like that has not been the case in the past because everyone just was not keen on backwards compatibility because we'll buy the same game over and over again. But I hope we're getting towards the future where that's not happening. The other thing I want to talk about is how do you guys feel about them kind of just dropping this randomly in a Wired article? I
am fine with this the way they done it because this is all the kind of crap that's in these conferences. Like when console announcements where we just kind of zone out a little bit. Like, this is cool and stuff that needs to be said, but they're not exciting for a press conference.
This would have been a boring as hell press conference.
Exactly. The only thing that would have been somewhat exciting, and it didn't need to. It's almost as effective just reading it here. The Spider-Man thing.
Yeah. I agree.
That would have been the most thing to show off, but they can still do this and then still show it.
I agree.
It's be about as effective.
And they wanted to say things before Microsoft did,
and that too.
But they're clearly not at the place yet where they're ready to show PS5 things.
This is fun.
So yeah, if you're at the situation where you want to say something but you don't have anything to show, I think kind of a low key thing like this is fine. Like most people won't even see this, and that's fine because you'll have the announcement later. Right. This is for the people who are really locked in.
The hardcore like us. We know this exists, which isn't a surprise. We get an idea about, or for the techie people, we get an idea of how it's built and all that kind of stuff. And for us who care about this, some stuff, but not as the tech guys, we know backwards compatibility, the whole VR stuff, and how much faster load times are. That's all we really needed for this. They get excited. And the release date is a cool thing too, but we kind of figured that. And the whole Death Stranding thing is kind of something that's kind of fun there.
So when do you think it's going to launch? Because I'm really feeling that it's going to be at the spring of 2020, at the end of the fiscal year.
So end of fiscal year.
It's just a hard thing. Like from as far as I know, the Switch is like one of the only like major consoles to not release.
Yeah, normally it's handhelds that release around then.
Yeah,
but
I see fall 2020 is what I see.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I don't think like Sony is necessarily aping Nintendo in that release date, but I feel like these companies just realize that hey, that black market holiday spending season is not as important as it once was.
Black market
or Black Friday.
You want to get the system on the black market?
That dark alley PS5.
November's Black Market month.
About to talk out of my ass. I feel like if we're gonna get one of the brand new consoles early in the year, we're more likely to get Microsoft because they want to get out before Sony.
And they've been talking about it longer. I don't know if that means anything. But
they announced it beforehand. Who knows? We could be blown away and hear about a good bit more of it at E3 or something.
Has Sony confirmed they're doing their Sony event in December?
We have they didn't have it last year. We do not know whenever we'll see them. The closest thing we got, the best thing we got from them is we'll get more state of play things throughout the year. Even
in the past, they haven't announced it until like not that long before. I remember every year it's like I want to buy my tickets. When are they going to announce it?
Yeah, back then it was an assumption. Now it's like they could announce it, but maybe not. But
yeah. I mean, who knows? But I could see that happening. Them announcing this at their PlayStation event in December, skipping E3.
Yeah,
and then it launching in the spring.
I kind of
crazy.
I kind of see them having their own event for the PS5 reveal.
Oh yeah.
That's what they're dedicated.
Like they did for the PS4. Even that wasn't like February or March or something like that. Yeah.
But they're obviously kind of like with not going to E3. doing the state of plays, like doing this random Wired article. They're obviously kind of experimenting with different ways to, announce things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of think we don't really know how to expect this or when or where or what, anything like that. But I am expecting next year.
Yeah.
Probably later next year, though.
Part of me feels like what might hurt the whole, and this may not affect it too much with the whole, maybe not spring thing, is the fact we still have, at the very least, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, and Death Stranding, which might be a cross-gen title to go through for their PS4 lineup. So
yeah.
And they probably don't feel in a rush to get it out like maybe Microsoft does, so they might try to space things out.
Yeah.
Get you to double dip, potentially, depending how they do the cross compatibility thing. Hey, you like that Last of Us game? You want a better version of it?
But we might apparently we might, I don't, yeah.
No. You'll be able, like, we get Last of Us, Last of Us Part 2, we'll be able to play it on there. But do you want a stronger version?
No, I'm fine.
Darby, a lot of people will be in for that.
I know they will.
I'm just excited. I know you guys don't really care about like the tech stuff, but I am ready for like a boost in like hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been with my PlayStation 4 for like 5 years, and it's like
I mean, stuff like this is why I do not even consider like the PS4 Pro or Xbox One X. I think it's a possibility. I'll just be more blown away when we get this new ones.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. This just looks like $500 I'm gonna have to spend. Like, I don't really like encounter I guess the systems and the network and stuff in the PS4 has lots of problems. But as far as like playing my games, I'm not really running into walls that I think of all the time. And like, I don't know. I'm just not looking forward to having to spend money for a whole nother console and then potentially whatever other revisions that Nintendo has halfway through that console and that cycle, and then Microsoft and all that. But
I mean,
in the long run, it's gonna be. I'm gonna buy it, whatever. Either way,
Darby and I have been talking. We're on the thing like, we're probably gonna definitely get this much sooner than we have other consoles.
Yeah,
I mean, besides me getting the Switch, I got that day one, but yeah.
There's really
especially that sweet Cyberpunk launches at the same time.
I mean, there's this PS5 could be no better than the PS4. It just locks me out of the future games, and I'm probably gonna buy it. Like, Sony almost has me held captive because of all the games they had, all the exclusive games they have.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to play The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima and like Death Stranding.
Yeah, Sony and Nintendo, they got me.
Yeah.
As long as they release their games.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, do you need a head?
Yeah, I'm gonna head out.
You want to just pause this? And I just kind of have to. Okay, hey Geoff. Hey.
Hi.
This podcast is messed up.
I don't know how that affects the timestamp I just wrote down, but whatever.
It's all stupid and none of it matters. It's 4:20. Let's just go get high.
Well, is it? Okay. So we talked about the PlayStation 5, Darby.
Yes.
Jacob
Hamill's dead now, though.
Yeah. Microsoft also technically announced a console.
Yeah.
Microsoft have an inside Xbox thing, so we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's related.
So was this the first official word of this being a thing, and all the other things were leaks, just very hard leaks? So like, in their plan, this was supposed to be the first time we saw this.
Yes.
Okay.
And they announced it with a pretty humorous trailer.
I heard what it was.
They literally put tape over the disc that drive.
Yeah.
Like, perfect. No, it's fun. This summary comes from Will Tuttle from Xbox Wire. Like I said, I'm just going to go over the kind of important main thing. I'm not going to go over the nitty-gritty of like the Sea of Thieves announcement stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. First thing. The Xbox One S All Digital Edition was announced. The Xbox One S All Digital Edition, or like people like to call it the Xbox One SAD edition, come bundled with three of our most compelling and popular games: Minecraft, Forza Horizon 3, and Sea of Thieves. It also comes with a special offer to get started with Xbox Game Pass, available for pre-order today at $249.99 US. You love that, don't you, Darby? The Xbox One S All Digital Edition is $50 US less than Xbox One S, and we expect to maintain at least that price difference between the two consoles going forward. Let's start there, Darby. We'll just talk about each of these.
It's a bad price.
Yeah. They should have started out at 200.
Yeah.
Max.
No, duh, yeah. Because right now it's like, for $50, I'll just take the physical.
Then I get a DVD player as well.
You get a DVD player, and if my friends have copies, I can borrow it or something. If it was $100 cheaper, then we might be talking. Yeah. But yeah, that's not enough.
Yeah,
that ain't it, Chief.
That
Chief. That I don't know. Yeah, I guess just $50 is just not enough of
it. It feels like it's one of those. I guess it's gonna be more reason to get it when it's on sale, but then again, it's like I said, it's always only gonna be $50 less than the regular S.
So as long as the S is always like in that range, I feel like it's always going to be worth it just to get the S.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I could see, like, especially down the line when it's cheaper, if like you really just like, even me, like the only reason I would want to get an Xbox is just to play some Game Pass games.
You would just get Game Pass and then you're good.
Yeah, it's just to play like Game Pass games, and that would pretty much be the only time I'm touching the thing.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe way down the line when both the S and the all digital are like really cheap, or something, like the all digital is like $100 and the S is $150 or something, or even cheaper, then at that point it might be like, okay, I guess I'll just get the all digital one just to be my Game Pass machine. I guess I could see that, but it would be a lot more compelling if it was cheaper.
Well, but then the next Xbox will be out, and then it's like, well, now you're not getting all the new games that are coming out on the thing.
We'll see if Xbox makes me care, but because I can also play all those games on my PC probably. Yeah. So that would probably be where I'd. And honestly, as soon as Game Pass comes to the PC, I'm not getting an Xbox. Basically, it pretty much locks me out of ever getting an Xbox probably.
Yeah.
Or at least an old, like.
Hey, like we said before, you'll still be paying for their service. So
yep. No, it works. But this is also like, at this price, I don't know who this is for.
Yeah, and to add on to it, Minecraft, Forza Horizon 3, Sea of Thieves, okay, good games, whatever, but you're getting some Game Pass at least the first couple months or whatever along with it, or at least for cheap. All those games are on there except for Horizon, but you're getting the newer version of Forza Horizon, so
yeah.
And I think they ran this up on Kind of Funny Games Daily, for one place that brought up. I don't know. I'm sure many people have. I got my S cheaper than a $250 with games that you could say are more worth it even at the time than this.
Yeah.
And people looked and saw like on Amazon and stuff. Now there's Xbox One S sales that you can get for cheaper with also other games on there too.
Yeah, it's a bad look.
Yeah.
When because this version, this Xbox is just objectively, like, throwing the price out of it, objectively worse. Like, there's nothing better about it. It's just missing that. So it needed to be.
The plus was supposed to be that it's a cheaper option, but
it's like, that's not
cheap enough. Cheap enough. Yeah.
So. Now, if this came out and was $200, it'd be like, sweet.
$100 less than what it normally is. Cool.
And especially if this is going to be your secondary console and you just want to catch up on the Xbox Game Pass games you can pass and everything.
Or then you're like, hey, even if it's not Xbox exclusive, Game Pass looks worth it to me.
Yeah.
And well, speaking of that, this would have been a better announcement to go along with it. It's still a good announcement overall, I think. But yeah, let's get that. The Xbox Game Pass Ultimate was announced. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will include all the benefits of Xbox Live Gold with Xbox Game Pass. That means the full Xbox Game Pass library of over 100 high-quality games and Xbox Live Gold online multiplayer. One convenient membership for $14.99 a month.
That's smart to basically make it sound like it's just a SKU of Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah,
to get Xbox, it's a bundle, but I just think
Game Pass is the more the brand out of those two people like the most, because Xbox Live Gold, more people have it, but it's also like, I'm paying for online.
I mean, that's almost just become a given. You don't even think about like that you have the service almost at this point. Like, I just think messaging wise, I mean, it's just dumb business moves, but I just think it's smart to be like, Game Pass Ultimate to be,
Yeah. So we've talked about it before. I'm fine with that price thing. People are getting hung up on the fact that it doesn't save you money if you normally get this stuff for a year.
But it does save you if you do it.
Save $5 a month if you usually get this stuff monthly, which people do. So that's fine. And people like the idea of having only one subscription instead of two.
Yeah. At least some people are saving money, and other people, nothing's changing, basically. Yeah. So, I think it's...
Yeah, so
it's fine.
I think I've seen a lot of people be very negative about this. Like, then the way they're talking is like, well, this is one of those things. It's not for you. It'll help people. Just act like this doesn't exist, and you're fine.
Nothing changed for you. It was just, it didn't get more expensive. But.
Yeah. So I think that's a fine announcement, and I think it's something that needs to be done. If they do a cheaper year option, great. If they do that more down the line,
yeah,
cool. Now here's something that's probably more interesting to you personally, Darby. It was technically announced beforehand, but they talked more here. It's supposed to be announced here, but they said screw it beforehand. Microsoft E3 conference will be on Sunday, June 9th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Same time as last year, I think, pretty much.
Yep.
Or pretty much the same time. Phil Spencer said during this, the Inside Xbox stream that their new studios will have things to show at E3 this year. He also hinted at the Outer Worlds being at their show. Yeah.
I'm excited for that game. So has everyone announced at this point?
Square Enix.
Yeah, we don't even know if they have one, but
yeah. That's the only one I think last year that hasn't been officially
as
far as time. Maybe except for Devolver Digital. We know they're having about them if they announced the time yet.
So Kind of Funny game showcasing the Sony spot.
Yeah.
Greg said that it's like, hey, if no one else does it, maybe we'll do it. He was open to it, at least. He was like, I don't know, but he's like, sure.
They can do what they want, but I feel like it might be better if they do it before E3.
I think so too.
I think that's the end result. As long as they get it done, that's what they're going
And that was just kind of him casually talking. I have a feeling they'll probably do before E3. That would be easier on them and probably better
it'd be better for the games.
Yeah, it'd be way better.
And the showcase in general. So I'm hoping that's what But anyway, I'm okay with this being it. It gives, honestly, as far as us watching it, well, never mind. It'd been a night for Sony, but still, I don't know. I feel like more depending on jobs we might have by then, we're more likely to be able to easily watch it on Sunday at 4.
Yeah.
Than Monday night at like 9. Better for a sleepy schedule, probably.
Better for sleeping schedule, but you might be working at Sunday at 4.
I might be. I might also be working. I mean,
you would not be working Monday at 9, probably. Unless maybe, I don't know. I don't know how late.
Well, that job interview I have Monday, I have a chance of working either way.
I don't know how late that place is open.
Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Man, I'm used to the
I thought they would close at like 6 or 7. Sounds bad.
They might. I don't know. I can't remember.
We'll see.
I don't know their schedule.
If anything, I'll be there alone reacting and be like, whoo, Darby's
Well, reacting. I will say this. If you're... never mind. We'll just talk about it when the time comes.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's all a bunch of ifs. So that's fine. I'm excited that the new studios happening this show. I think Ninja Theory is a prime example that the playground games or whatever, hit for Fable.
Fable 4.
I feel like it's happening.
4.
It has to happen.
Man, you saw like I've seen my reaction again. Then like Cyberpunk came up there, and I was so like viscerally like disheartened. It's Cyberpunk.
You felt better as you were watching trailers. Like,
yeah, they all watched trailer. I'm like, okay, this is a dope trailer.
That's Cyberpunk's fault, Darby.
Yeah, but that's just how excited I was for Fable 4, and that was almost a year ago now. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's happened more. Again, no surprise Outer Worlds gonna be there. This technically, it's gonna be multi-platform. It's Microsoft's game, pretty much. It doing well looks good on them. So
yeah,
no, makes sense they'd market it.
Yeah.
And finally, the last thing we have to spend our time on this. Phil also talked briefly about how he's been testing out xCloud while he has been traveling, playing games like Crackdown and stuff. So
yep.
Releases in our working stage, I guess that. Gonna do that. Okay, moving on, Darby. Talking about Nintendo and their Twitter directs.
Geoff, it happened! Our sweet baby boy!
Yes, Nintendo dropped what is pretty much a Super Smash Bros. Mini Direct on Tuesday night.
Just
like
randomly,
at 9 p.m.
We were just playing Overwatch, and Jeff's like, "Oh, Joker gameplay's out, and he's coming out tomorrow."
Joker's coming out tomorrow. Yeah, and there's a whole 15-minute video.
What the hell?
Going over there.
So we quit our Overwatch match in the middle of the match. No, we didn't.
Yeah. So I'll just go through what the main highlights of that were. There's just a quick thing, then we can talk about it. Joker's now playable on Super Smash Bros. Mementos is his stage. Music from multiple Persona games, as Persona 5, 4, and 3 were included, and they changed the color and style and all that stuff for the Memento stage. Version 3.0 was also detailed. Version 3.0 included additions above the stage builder and video editor. And there were also multiple Mii costumes related to Persona and the Sonic series released as DLC. Not related to the character pass.
Yeah. He's dope.
He's dope.
The fan
service and everything just put into everything related to Persona.
Like above and beyond.
It makes you more hyped even if we don't know the characters, for the remaining DLC. It may not get as much love necessarily as this, but...
But even they could have done half as much and we still would have been satisfied. But
yeah, like just the fact that
let's go into specifically what is this fan servicey stuff?
I was about to say. Like even the victory animation is the victory stuff from the actual Persona games where Joker's walking, Morgana crashes into the screen, or the Morgana bus goes across the screen, and when you finish the match with Joker's final smash,
it's the all-out attack.
Yeah, the all-out attack. It does the all-out attack indie animation as the victory screen.
And they have all the characters have voice lines, whether on the stage or in the victory thing, or just in the all-out attack.
And they're hanging out around the stage. They come in various points randomly.
Yeah, so they had to go get all those voice actors to do some, stuff, which is cool. They did
with the Memento stage, which turned out a lot better than anyone's expected. I think everyone agreed when the Memento stage was data mined, rumored, whatever. Like, really, that's like the most boring part. But they did it the best way possible, which is probably best way to represent, probably Persona as a whole. Because, like I said, they have songs Persona 4 and 3 in there, and when when those songs play on the stage, it changes the color scheme and kind of design on things to stuff to represent those games, and that is fantastic.
Oh, that was the coolest thing. When I was watching that trailer, and they're like, Mementos has a secret, and then boom, like the P3 music comes out. I'm like, oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is like super cool, especially for other Persona fans, to like get more representation. And yeah, like basically the Memento stage ended up just being like it's Persona style the stage. It's like. And that's that's like kind of the most visually striking thing about Persona is the menus and the like.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that was really they're okay. They're more of the mental things with the back, which is the level select thing or whatever. And the train tracks and everything going.
Yeah, but like I think we all pictured like we're just sitting there
in a drab
subway fighting. It's like okay,
that's
cool.
They did it the best way possible. And it's great.
And the music selection, while I selfishly wish there was more P5 songs in there because P5's the only one I've played.
I think most people agree they wish there were more Persona music songs in general.
I do, yeah. There's about 11 or 12? 11. Yeah, I do wish there was more. I mean, it's a good selection. I like, you have Rivers in the Desert. Yeah. I'm so glad that was in there, and there's definitely a few others that I kind of wish could have been in there. And then obviously, I'm sure like P3 fans are like, oh, there's only 2 songs. That kind of sucks, yeah. But I'll take what I can get. I mean, it's still so awesome to be playing Smash and then hear Persona music. Yep. It's so cool.
We're probably gonna play that stage a lot for a while, especially as long as me and you are choosing stages.
Just like listening to the music is just enough.
I mean, even if we were choosing the Final Destination or Battlefield, it's like, why not? We're probably gonna pick that for a while because just the style and music.
It's so cool, yeah. I haven't played it in anything in Battlefield or Final Destination version, so I imagine the characters don't show up in that.
Probably not.
Yeah,
I mean, mess around with that much.
Yeah, I imagine probably not.
We don't talk about as much. The video editor, we have nothing about that. Cool. Yeah, whatever. Stage builder, more in depth than the Wii U version and obviously the Wii version. For Brawl.
Yeah, I still think it could be better.
Yeah, I think so too. But they added more. Like you can actually have more moving platforms, things rotating stuff. You can actually have layers to it. Like you have the regular stuff where the things you'll be standing on are, but then you have stuff in front of it and behind it, which adds a lot more visual flair. So not everything that's on the stage that you look at, you can jump on.
And it makes it so like in the previous versions of this, someone would make some awesome stage builder that looks amazing. We'd be like, wow, that looks awesome, but it's just a pain to play on because it's almost not meant to be played on because they were trying to make something cool looking. Now they can design something really cool and have that as the backdrop and then have the actual stage be playable, normal playable.
Which increases the chance of us playing a lot of these stages.
Right. I feel like previously we would just play it once just to admire how good it looks, but then in actual just practical battle it just didn't work. Yeah. But now there was one that was like the Link's Awakening egg thing in the background. And it's basically
we will play on that stage.
But practically it's basically just Final Destination. So it's like, yeah, totally. We'll play that, yeah.
And there are a couple more stages like that that are really cool. So yeah, we will definitely be using those.
Yeah, so I would say Stage Builder is better than it could have been and maybe better than I I don't know what I expect. I expected a little bit more, but it's better than it could have been. But it's still not quite what I still think it's impossible. It's almost impossible to make a Smash stage that doesn't look ugly. It can look like talented, like well fleshed out, but the assets are ugly.
Magikarp stage looks the best. Unfortunately, it made us kind of sick.
It just makes me more excited for Mario Maker 2 because I'm not going to be calling those ugly.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. You ready to move on?
Except for all the penis Mario Maker stages levels that are made. Those might be ugly.
Okay, moving on. Staying with Nintendo. This comes from Call of Siege from IGN. Retro Studios gave former Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé for some reason,
God rest his soul.
Yeah, a signed drawing of him posing with various characters from retro games. But a small mechanical hand in the picture is throwing a lot of fans for a loop. The picture, along with a working Virtual Boy, a notebook for taking names, a plastic ass to kick, and more, were given to Fils-Aimé during a retirement event, and the Nintendo legend decided to tweet out pictures of these gifts yesterday. The folks at Gamescom and the fans on Resetera noticed a mechanical hand in the picture, which can be seen poking out from behind a small statue of Mario in front of the picture. Theories have begun flying. Above the hand, to the left of Mario's arm, there appears to be what some describe as an ear with a portion of a helmet above it. So it could very well just be a part of Samus's arm cannon and elbow, but the color is slightly off, and it doesn't follow the typical design of her Varia suit. Considering the Mario statue's precise placement, some fans think Fils-Aimé staged the photo as part of an elaborate tease. Because Retro Studios has only developed Metroid Prime and Donkey Kong Country games, excluding the studio's assistance on Mario Kart 7, some fans believe this is a character from a different Nintendo franchise, or believed it's associated with a brand new unannounced Retro Studios IP. To add fuel to the fire, Enrique Rivera, a concept artist at Retro, retweeted Reggie's post with a winky face, suggesting there really is a tease in the picture. According to his LinkedIn page, Rivera has been with Retro for nearly 4 years. Guesses as to who this hand belongs to range from logical to hilarious. Many think it resembles a robot from Teleroboxer, one of the 22 games that graced the Virtual Boy. Others believe it's a character from the much-rumored Star Fox Grand Prix racing game. A few believed it's tied to the canceled Project Hammer, though Retro has never been associated with that title.
What does Nintendo expert Jeff Mayo believe?
I really do think this is part of something new, depending when this thing's made, or I think this is from something brand new that Retro has been worked on, that obviously Reggie and other Nintendo people have worked on, because, yes, I saw the thing, I showed you it, right? I know I talked to you about it. But
the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
Yeah. So there's only, Samus and Donkey Kong characters. Again, that's the only stuff Retro has worked on. Yeah. And then you see this random robot thing. No one can place it to any other Nintendo character.
And the internet would have found it.
Yeah, the internet 100% would have found it. I would have seen it in GameSplainer.
And also, like, I think this is part of an elaborate tease because, I mean, if Reggie was actually trying to hide that, he could have done a better job.
Yeah.
Like, yes, like the Mario thing is blocking him, but you can see the hand pretty clearly. Like,
yeah,
if Reggie, like, basically, I don't buy that Reggie was trying to hide it completely. Like, he didn't want.
Plus, as far as I know, it's still up. So it's like he did it intentionally.
Like, if he knew this was something he needed to hide, he would have seen the hand. Like, it's pretty obvious. It's not that hidden.
As far as I know, it's still up. So it was intentional. But yeah, I think this is something new from Retro. Hopefully, it's not a thing of this was something they worked on. This picture was made a while ago, but it was canceled because of Metroid Prime 4, and they just didn't make it. Do you
think this means that we might be gearing up to hearing about whatever it is soon?
I would assume so, because again, they haven't. I mean, this would be what you think they'd be working on since Tropical Freeze came out in 2014. They just started a Metroid Prime, so they got to be working on something.
Yeah. It would be kind of weird if it was Star Fox Racing and the character they decided to put in their little mural was just some random robot and not like Star Fox.
Yeah. I don't think this is necessarily Star Fox. I think it'd be Fox on it unless they went crazy with a redesign. And maybe
Fox is a robot now.
Yeah. So yeah, I think especially with this, I'm starting to be on the side of Star Fox Racing might have been a thing that was canceled much early on than we would think, and or it just didn't exist.
Because just Retro was obviously working on something in this time.
They had
whether it was completely canned or not is a question, but they were working on something.
Yeah.
It's been 2014, right? It was early 2014.
It was 5 years. Tropical Freeze came out 5 years ago originally.
Yeah. I mean, I believe they were probably there's probably been like 2 different things they were working on. At least one of them was canned, and then now they're working on Metroid Prime, but they very well could have something else.
And Nintendo likes to, on some things, have really quick turnarounds with announcements for release. So they could announce this at E3. It come out at the end of the year, later this year, and
which on top of the lineup we already know from Nintendo, if you add on some retro game, that's exciting.
That is exciting. Even if it's a kind of a smaller scale thing, it's like retro hasn't had a dud, so
right.
We're going to be interested one way or the
they
other.
Just haven't had a game in a while, but they haven't had a dud. Yeah, you're right.
So this will be exciting, and hopefully we can.
Geoff, you can protest if you have other things. I think we can pretty much just skip this next story or just say. I don't think there's really much news in here, and we're kind of running long. So I think, hey, The Last of Us 2, they wrapped up the
mocap.
They wrapped up the mocap for Joel and Ellie's stuff, and Troy Baker and Ashley. What's her name? Ashley Johnson tweeted about it.
Yeah,
and then Neil Druckmann said that he had this shot that said like the end, like they finished the script.
Well, those are 2 different things.
Yeah,
they did the end thing first, and people were like, oh, they're done filming, but the stuff's out of order. And then like a day or 2 later, the Troy Baker Ashley Johnson thing. Hey, done with the most emotional scene between these 2.
Yeah,
it's like mocap's probably mostly done, which necessarily means can be a fun thing. Saying the game could be close, it might not be. Not the most telling thing, but rumors I feel like are starting to ramp up a little bit of it making this year.
We'll see. But like this makes sense for them to be done with mocap and stuff like that at this point. Like that's done pretty early. So
I'm just gonna say this: Uncharted 4 apparently mocap was only done like about 2 to 3 months or something before it shipped. Just saying.
This game is not shipping in 2 to 3 months.
I know. I'm just saying it doesn't necessarily mean it's like a year.
I would make a bet with you
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Make a bet, coward!
It could be this year.
But it's not 2 to 3 months.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And I'm telling you to make the bet.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next thing. Okay, this comes from Joe Scrubs 5G, and it's pretty much a follow-up to something we've been talking about a lot.
Yes.
Sega has revealed the new model for Judgement character Kyohei Hamura after the game's original Hamura actor Pia Taki was indicted for cocaine use. The change is a fairly subtle one. The new Hamura is an original model, not based on a scan of an actor, and the character's movements and lip sync remain the same. Yakuza studio head Toshihiro Nogoshi previously explained how much had to be altered to remove Taki's likeness from the game. Quote, first of all, we had to replace the character model and re-record all of the dialogue. But replacing the character model was only the start. We had to change all the pre-rendered cutscenes Hamura appeared in. Also, his face appeared on some of the evidence that you present on your smartphone, so we had to replace those textures, and some trophies had to be changed too.
Sounds like a pain in the ass.
It does seem like a pain in the ass, but the main reason this brought up, is, I think, is, important to bring up is, they say they're planning on sticking with their original Western release date of June 26th or whatever it was, around then. The fact is, they have the model in now, they have those changes and stuff.
So it sounds like they will probably hit that.
Yeah, it looks like they're planning on hitting it. It sounds like the main thing they got to do now is that re-recorded dialogue.
Yeah. So I wonder, so everyone who bought it in Japan right now, will their copy just be, updated to this, basically?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably a patch.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's people in Japan playing the game right now, but you can't buy it.
Yeah.
Someone's selling that game for a lot right now.
100%. But again, as we talked about before, this was always the perfect storm to get the Yakuza Studios games to maybe make more of a bounce in North America. So I'm glad they're able to hit the date.
Yeah, so glad. It would have been
really
sad.
Rough if it got pushed to any.
Yeah, it would have sucked.
Yeah. So yeah.
That does sound like a pain to have to do all that though.
Yeah. Okay, so continuing with stuff that probably would have been a direct if we had one. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, is coming out on July 19th, a week before Fire Emblem.
Their summer Switch game.
Yep. A bunch of new characters were announced, including Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales' Spider-Man, Deadpool, and more. So they were crazy with the character announcements, showing off a lot of ones that were obvious MCU characters, but then stuff like people like Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy and Deadpool and all that kind of stuff.
Deadpool.
exciting for people that be into these games.
Yeah, Spider-Gwen's really cool too.
Yeah, and all those characters, I think all these names, except for Deadpool, are on the cover. It's like, man, they got a lot of characters on there.
That's a smart thing to do with this game. This seems like a game that should just be packed, have a packed roster.
Yep, especially, they have all the Spider-Man on there. They have Wolverine front and center and big.
Yeah.
And like Nightcrawler and stuff on it. It's like,
we got them.
We got the X-Men. Get hyped. So.
Take that, Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, but it's still crazy. I mean, I don't know how much control Nintendo has over this, that it's coming out a week before Fire Emblem. I know different fan bases, but still.
Yeah. I'm gonna be buying Fire Emblem.
Insane.
You have fun with your little Marvel game.
With your little Marvels. Your little spiders.
It's tiny little Marvels franchise.
Yep. Okay, moving on to the next thing. This comes from Joe Scales from IGN, Darby.
Thanks, Joe.
Gamescom 2019 will kick off with Opening Night Live, a new live stream show hosted by Geoff Keighley. Opening Night Live will include announcements from major game publishers and independent developers, world premieres on new game footage, and special guest appearances from the stars of the gaming industry. The event will take place on Monday, August 19th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK, blah, 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 blah.
I love that Geoff Keighley's just kind of become the video game live event guy.
Yeah.
That's just his thing. And, no, he's good at it. He just, made his niche. But
kind of surprised, since this is probably, not the most busy time, but, after E3, it sounds like he's just like, okay, Game Awards.
It's Game Awards.
That's all I live, breathe. Eat Game Awards.
This very well might be something that everyone else plans for him, and he just walks in, he's the talent, and he does the thing, and then he leaves. He might not be that involved with Gamescom. It is just kind of cool just to see how Geoff Keighley has gone from being in those horrible VGAs with Joel freaking McHale, just miserable, dreadful thing. You could tell that Geoff Keighley cared, but no one else cared.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy to see that he made it.
Yeah.
And that Joel McHale is not anywhere near any of this.
It was the Game Awards, Darby.
I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
But hey, we'll watch this. We'll see what's going on in however many months.
Gamescom kind of teeters back and forth between there's some big announcements, and then some years there's not that much.
I hope it's Jeff's there, so maybe they'll have some big ones. Who knows?
Kojima's going to come there and smile a bunch and then leave. Maybe show a trailer.
No, Jeff's going to be like, hey, Kojima, can you save that couple months for the Game Awards?
Yeah, please.
I
don't care that much about these Gamescom people.
Oh, wait, Kojima, you have the release date for Death Stranding? Save that for December, why don't you?
You just wait a few months.
Oh, it's coming out in December? Shadow drop it, baby. It'll be fine.
Oh, geez. Can you imagine?
Oh.
The Game Awards. They're like,
oh, they shadow drop that. Everyone will just drop it right there.
Play Death Stranding, right? That would need to be the last thing in the conference, in the Game Awards.
Oh, it's coming tonight, but after the Game Awards, so stay watching. Yeah. Okay, moving on to last main story.
Or Kojima interrupts someone's speech for winning Game of the Year.
Yes.
Death Stranding. Yes.
This is Death Stranding. Okay, so last news story before we get to the main topic. This comes from Brian Crescent from Variety.
Crescente, I think.
Crescente.
I just heard other people say it. Crescente.
I'm going with Croissant.
Brian Croissant.
Netflix new live-action series based on The Witcher will launch in the company's fourth quarter, which runs from October to December. The company's chief content officer noted in an earnings call this week. Netflix CCO Ted Sarandos was responding to a question about Netflix 2019 lineup when he brought up the timing for the show, which is based on a series of books made internationally popular through successful video game adaptations.
Low expectations, so maybe they get exceeded. Is where I'm at.
Henry Cavill, darn it.
Just that teaser is just one of the most awkward. It's stabs through my heart with the awkwardness. It's just I can't. It's and just beyond that, I feel like Witcher is probably one of the hardest adaptations you can do because there's gonna need to be so much CGI, and I just don't trust. I don't trust Netflix to put in the budget needed to really make this happen. Because there's a lot of crazy ass monsters that they're gonna have to try to make.
And Dark Heavy Works could be trying to do a live action Kingdom Hearts That's when I'm like, no.
No, that would be great in a bad way. Like, this, I think, might just be boring and bad. That would be something to see. So I will disagree with you there.
It'll be worth watching at least a little, no matter what.
Absolutely. I would probably be in for the long haul with Netflix Kingdom Hearts.
Live act, like imagine the way they do the Pokemon, but with Goofy and Donald.
Oh boy.
Gosh. Okay, so that's that. Yeah. You might know. Was this always planned for 2019? Probably the put that was.
Yeah. I think they said so.
Okay.
I think they said so. Okay. I mean, I don't think they had a lot of fanfare about it, but I think they said general in 2019.
Cool.
Yeah, back then. But I mean, we haven't seen too terribly much. I mean, it was a while ago when they had the full cast that they announced, so it makes sense. But
all right, this is gonna be the Game of Thrones replacement.
My worry is that they think it will.
That's probably what they're hoping.
It probably is. I mean, because it's a fantasy book series, like long fantasy book series that they're hoping to get in the ground floor of and tell through. Which I don't know if they're starting like from the beginning of the books and telling the straight story of the book. I know they are telling the story of the books, but I don't know if they are literally starting like doing it straightly. But I'm not sure. Because even the books kind of jump around some. And my favorite Witcher books are the short stories. I think there's a chance the Monster of the Week type thing could be really cool. My biggest worry is the CGI.
That's fair. That is fair. Okay, Darby.
Yep.
Main topic.
Main topic time.
Something we don't always do.
No, we have not been able to do in a while, and we probably shouldn't be doing it this week. But hey, long podcast. Here we go.
Man, we have PS5 news. It's okay.
It's fine.
Okay, this comes from Takashi Mochizuki from Wall Street Journal. And because it's the Wall Street Journal, you gotta pay for it, and I'm a poor man. I just found random excerpts people post online with highlights for the most part. Now, this first part is from the beginning of the article, and then I'll go to a couple excerpts.
Yeah.
And try to make it known when there's a skip for person.
Just shout skip.
Skip! Jump! Okay. Sony Corp is cracking down on sexual content in PlayStation 4 video games globally, reflecting concerns in the U.S. about the depiction of women in games, but irritating some software developers. Sony's new in-house standards that limit sexually explicit content distinguish it from other game hardware makers that allow a greater amount of content as long as the software carries a rating from a national industry body. A Sony spokeswoman confirmed this company has established its own guidelines, quote, so that creators can offer well-balanced content on the platform, end quote, and games does not inhibit the sound growth and development of young people. She declined to say where these guidelines were introduced or to discuss them in detail. Skip! Sony officials said executives at the company have grown concerned that its global reputation could take a hit from sexually explicit content sold only in a few markets. One of their biggest concerns is software sold in the company's home market of Japan, which traditionally has had more tolerance for near nudity and images of young women who might appear underage. Oh boy, do they. Skip! Two factors last year combined to turn that unease into action, these Sony's officials say. One was the rise of the hashtag #MeToo movement in the U.S., which pointed to the dangers of being associated with content that some might see as demeaning to women. The second was the emergence of channels on sites like YouTube and Amazon, each Twitch, where gamers play in front of a camera and are watched by fans online. That means games meeting Japan's laxer standards can get worldwide exposure. Skip! In general, any company making a game for a platform like the PlayStation 4, Microsoft Corp's, Xbox, or Nintendo Co.'s Switch signs a contract with the platform maker governing royalties and other items. That gives the platform maker the ability to block games it doesn't like. Nintendo said it doesn't regulate sexual content-based content beyond requiring game makers to obtain a rating from the national board. It said its game systems allow parents to restrict content based on the rating. Microsoft declined to comment. Thanks, Skip, and quote, you don't know what they will say until you complete the work and submit it for review, said the chief executive of a small game developer in Japan. And if they are not happy, even if they allowed the same degree of sexuality a few days ago, we need to take it back and ask our staff to make adjustments. That's very costly, end quote, and that's all I have.
Yeah. Thank you, Geoff, for all that. Take your water. You have earned your water.
Scoop!
We're just gonna shout skip for the rest of the time. I kind of wanted to talk about this partially because, and I'll preface this by saying I love Kind of Funny to death. I love them. They're like the biggest inspirations for my professional life and just everything. Like they are great. And I'm not trying to.
Why isn't your shirt off?
You're right. And I'm not trying to single them out because a lot of people have had this, but. I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily, and they just kind of like reinforced the fact that like I don't like kind of the discourse sometimes around censorship when we talk about this, and what kind of like got me thinking about that was they were talking about, and Tim from Kind of Funny was talking about the Devil May Cry situation where like in America and I think in Europe too, there was a scene where just I think it was Trish was.
I think Lady also had one weird scene too.
Okay, yeah. Where she was naked, like Dante was carrying her, and you could see her butt for a second. And the American and Europe version, they like did
on PS4 to be
they did this weird like flare thing to like mask the butt so that to shield your eyes from the butt.
It makes it stand out more.
Yeah, it absolutely
more
is.
attention
It's
to
like, what the hell's going on? Why is there this angelic light on her ass?
A horny ass.
But the thing that kind of bugged me was they were talking about the debate between censorship and not censorship. And Tim kind of said, like, well, I guess if you care that much about, seeing the butt, then, more power to you, I guess. But like, if you care that much, but, I don't really care. I don't like that mindset because like that kind of like makes it that's like a type of argument that like makes it seem like everyone who's fighting against censorship is just horny people wanting to look at a butt.
Yeah.
When that's not the case. You know what I mean? That kind of just like takes the argument out at the knees and kind of like misses the point of where we're going. And it kind of worries me, not because like most of these games that are being censored are not things that I would be interested in.
There are examples to the contrary. People are bringing in Devil May Cry that was fixed, blah blah blah, on the PS4. I think that's a bit different. But one example, when I was looking up stuff for this to make sure I could maybe find more stuff from this to put down, one of the news articles used a screen cap from Nekopara. Like that's one of them. That's the kind of stuff that they're kind of talking about here. Yeah, that should be a little more.
Like the problem is that once you start doing this, even for things that I don't want to see and everything, once you start censoring things, it's always going to be a slippery slope. It's always going to be where like like there's times like the Devil May Cry thing. There was nothing obscene about that. It was just she was naked. People can be naked. It's a mature rated game and everything. And I just don't want us to get down the rabbit hole of we need to like censor everything for adults that like we have rating boards, we have things that dictate this stuff that like I'm not wording this great, but I just worry about PlayStation or any of these big companies trying to police the content on their service that consenting paying adults are buying stuff on. Because once you start doing that, I feel like you could get to the point where it's not just anime sex games. It's like someone's real art that they have a naked scene or something that is like really poignant. Like it's there for a reason for this piece of art, but it ends up getting this blanket ban going across it. Like Greg brought up like Heavy Rain. There's a like full-on sex scene there, but like when you get to that point in the game, it's supposed to mean something. Like it's art. It's not obscene. It's like it's a scene. Yeah. But like I could totally see like if that came out today potentially, like PlayStation's like, oh well, you need to get this out of here. I just worry about that kind of thing.
Honestly, I don't completely buy the whole slippery slope argument. I think people rely on that too much to kind of disregard any forms of censorship in any way, shape, or form. And
people do, but then people also. Continue.
Like here's the thing, like again, like we're going to Nakapura and that kind of stuff. A lot of times, and it seemed like in some parts of this article, obviously Devil May Cry is kind of unfortunately, as far as timing goes against this. It sounded like in some ways they might be talking about. I know this thing is vague, but they're talking about the kind of stuff like Nekopara, where they have the kind of kid-looking characters where they try to pass off as adults, and those are what being sexualized. That kind of stuff is censorship. But I'm not saying you're doing this, but there are people that use the slippery slope argument to be like, we can't censor this because then everything is censored. I think that censoring that is different than the heavy rain thing. That's
I agree, and to be very clear, and I'm probably not being clear. I'm not saying that. I think there is a line. I think there is stuff that doesn't belong.
Yeah, the way I'm getting as I get slippery slope is the thing. I think people use that too broadly, as in no censorship at all, because they only get worse from there. So we can't censor anything. It's like, no, we can do stuff that should be censored, and then call out Sony or whoever when we feel they're actually going too far in it, like with the Devil May Cry thing.
Yeah. I agree with that. I just think for the most part, obviously underage sexual content and horrible things like that's going on with Necopar and games like that is obviously something that should not be on the store.
Yeah.
But I just think outside of those bounds, for the most part, it should be left to people to police themselves. And parents shouldn't be letting their kids play mature rated games. They do it anyway, but they shouldn't. And I don't think it's PlayStation's job to do that. And obviously me and you will never see some obscene game on PlayStation Store and be like, how could PlayStation do this? We wouldn't relate it to PlayStation. PlayStation is just a platform it's sitting on. We'd be like, these developers did this. But I get it from PlayStation's perspective. Not everyone knows that. Not everyone associates that. I don't know. It concerns me a little bit. You know? Yeah. I had some questions, but I forgot. That was pretty much what we had. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have fully fleshed out things. I don't know. I don't like the kind of dismissing of the conversation to just these are people who want to see anime titties.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot deeper than that.
And I think on the flip side, I guess in a way, we're coming at it kind of two different angles where people are dismissing it from both different sides, or kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we typically are agreeing on the general thing of this, but
I think we are
just coming at it from a different.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I definitely think I know it's a cliche thing, and I know it's used in bad ways, but it is a slippery slope. It absolutely 100% can be, because you get to points like Australia that you can't even Outcast. The start of this podcast was us talking about Outlast having to censor some of its horror game because it was too violent for Australia. And that's just the type of thing that if we get to that point in America, I'm not going to be happy. It's gonna be
I agree that'd be bad. But again, I just think the problem is people are using that again. Not saying you are, or a lot of everyone is, but using the whole slippery slope thing for no censorship whatsoever. And I have seen people being like, "Oh, why are they censoring this anime young girl crap and not Mortal Kombat?" Like people showing Mortal Kombat fatality gifs and stuff, equating apples and oranges.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, Jeff.
What I'm getting at is Naui from Awakening should be erased from history.
Don't know, but I assume I would agree with you. I have no clue what any of those words meant.
For Fire Emblem Awakening, Naui, the little dragon girl.
Oh God, yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah. Okay.
That's the most that's where that whole 1,000-year dragon crap kind of became popular.
Yeah,
as far as in the mainstream mind, at least.
And now we have another weird 1,000-year dragon girl in the new one, right? Seems like potentially.
Yeah,
there's some
100%.
It's I just really hope that they don't go there. Yeah, I hope not. It seems Three Houses overall seems to be keeping it in its pants a little more than the Fire Emblem has in the past.
Yeah, please stay that way.
I hope so. All right, Jeff. I think we can call it there. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. Make sure to check out all of our many things that we've done recently, like Game of Thrones Spoilercast, Nier, Tomato, Spoilercast.
Nier Automated
Tomatoes.
Yep.
The game gets really weird.
Yep.
So many tomatoes. And we played Dreams. We played Joker. We watched Shazam.
Endgame next week, Darby.
We're watching Endgame next week. Man, why is all this happening at the same time? Someone pointed out in this year alone, like, not that it's ending completely, but at least the Marvel saga that we know is ending.
The 10-year saga.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is ending and Star Wars is ending.
Yeah.
All in 1 year. That's kind of crazy.
But Darby, we're getting the rise of the Pokemon cinematic universe.
Pokemon cinematic, the PCU. Believe it's happening.
Believe.
But when am I getting my Ludicolo movie? Just the adventures of Ludicolo for 2.5 hours.
Man, Darby, we're gonna be.
But Detective Pikachu is not that long either.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah, we should probably go see that. Wow. We gotta get that trading card, Darby, that comes if you go see it the first weekend.
Yeah.
You have a Pikachu that's move is drink coffee.
That's the Pikachu I want.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. Bye.
Bye.